This niche is blowing up right now, and almost no one is talking about it. Tiny ants, building entire civilizations, fighting wars, expanding territories like a real army, and somehow, it's pulling in millions of views. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. Some of these channels are quietly making thousands every single month without showing their face, without recording anything, and without complicated editing. So what's actually going on here? Because once you see the process behind these videos, it completely changes how you think about content. In this video, I'll show you exactly how these are created using free tools, and more importantly, how you can automate the entire thing from start to finish. What you're seeing in this niche isn't random. There's a system behind it, and once you understand that system, everything starts to make sense. Why these videos get millions of views, why they hold attention, and why some creators are quietly scaling them into real income. Because on the surface, it looks simple. Ants moving around, building structures, fighting over resources. But that simplicity is exactly what makes it powerful. It feels like a story, and that's the key. These videos aren't just visuals, they're structured narratives. There's a beginning, a conflict, and a resolution. And once you realize that, you stop treating it like content, start treating it like a process. So let's break that process down step by step. The first thing you need is understanding what's already working. Instead of guessing ideas, you start by analyzing existing videos in this niche. Pick any high-performing video, something that already has traction. Then use a tool that can actually watch and understand that video. You feed it the clip and ask it a simple instruction. Watch this. Break it down. Explain what's happening. Now here's why this step matters. You're not copying, you're decoding. You're learning how the story flows, how scenes transition, what kind of pacing is being used, and what makes people keep watching. Because once the system understands that structure, it can help you recreate it with your own variation. After the analysis, you move to the next step, creating your own storyline. Now you have two options. You can come up with your own concept manually, or you can guide the system to generate one for you. But here's the important part. You don't ask for something random, you ask for something structured. A story that follows a similar flow but with a different idea. For example, instead of copying the exact scenario, you shift the focus. Different resource, different conflict, same storytelling rhythm. And once you do that, you get something powerful. A clear, step-by-step storyline. Not just random scenes, but a sequence that builds. Now you know exactly what happens first, what comes next, and how the story ends. And that clarity changes everything. Because now, you're not guessing what to create, you're executing a plan. Next comes the visual reference. This is where most people rush, and that's a mistake. Because visuals define consistency. You take a screenshot from a similar video, not to copy it, but to guide the style. You show the system what kind of visuals you're aiming for, and then you ask it to generate a prompt for your first scene. This is important. You're not directly generating images yet. You're generating the instructions that will create those images, and that gives you control. Once you get that first prompt, you move to your second tool. This is where the image is actually created. You open a new project, set your resolution to a cinematic format, and choose the model that handles this style best. Then you paste your prompt, click generate, and within seconds, you get a high-quality image that looks like it belongs in the same universe as the original content, but still feels like your own. Now you go back, you feed that image into the system again, and you ask for the next step. Write the prompt for the second scene. This is where the workflow becomes powerful, because now each step builds on the previous one. You're not creating disconnected images. You're creating a sequence. Scene 1 leads to scene 2. Scene 2 leads to scene 3. And you repeat this process until your entire storyline is visualized. If something feels off, you don't force it. You refine it, adjust the prompt, add details, regenerate, because small changes at this stage make a big difference later, and slowly, something starts to form. Not just images, but a story you can actually see, frame by frame. Now at this point, you should have all your scenes ready, each one representing a moment in your story, each one connected to the next. And if you've done this correctly, you'll notice something. It doesn't feel random anymore. It feels intentional, like it's building towards something. And that's exactly what you want, because what comes next is where everything comes to life. Now this is where everything shifts, because up until now, you've only built the foundation. You have your story, you have your scenes, but nothing is moving yet. And this is exactly where most creators lose the effect, because turning static images into something that actually feels alive is where the difference is made. So here's how you do it. You take your first image and send it back into the system. But this time, you don't ask for another scene. You change the instruction. Now you tell it, this image needs to be animated. And you guide it. You explain that each image will become a moving clip, and you want a prompt that defines how that motion should look. This is important, because animation isn't random movement. It's controlled motion. It defines how your story feels. The system gives you a prompt describing the movement, what the ants are doing, how the camera behaves, how the scene transitions. You take that prompt and move back to your second tool. Now instead of generating an image, you switch to animation mode. You select video. You set the same format to keep consistency. Choose a fast, efficient model that still maintains quality. Paste your animation prompt and generate. Now this step takes a little longer, but when the result comes back, you'll notice something immediately. It doesn't feel like a slideshow. It feels like a scene. Movement has direction. Actions have purpose. The environment reacts. And suddenly, your story isn't static anymore. It's alive. Now you repeat this, scene by scene. Each image becomes a clip. Each clip follows the same structure you planned earlier. And because your story is already clear, everything connects naturally. If something feels off, fix it at the prompt level. Rewrite the motion, adjust the action, regenerate. Because this stage is where quality is controlled. And once all your animations are ready, you move to the final step, editing. Now this part is simple, but it matters. You take all your clips and place them in order. No randomness. Everything follows the sequence you built from the beginning. Trim out anything unnecessary. Remove small glitches. Keep only what feels clean and intentional, and that alone elevates the quality. You don't need complex transitions. You don't need heavy effects, because the strength of this content comes from the story. Now here's something most people overlook. You already have sound. The system generates audio with the video, so unless something feels missing, you don't need to add anything extra. But if you want to enhance it, you can layer subtle sound or music, just enough to support the moment, not overpower it. Once everything is aligned, you export. And that's it. From idea to story to visuals to animation to final video. Now step back and think about what you just built. A complete narrative created from scratch with tools that cost nothing and a process that you can repeat again and again and again. Now here's where it becomes powerful, because this isn't just one video. You can create multiple stories, different conflicts, different endings, different scenarios, and every time you're building something new. That's how these channels grow, not by luck, by consistency, by structure, by repeating a system that works. And the best part, you don't need to overcomplicate it, you just need to execute it. So the real question is, what are you going to create next? Because now you've seen the full process. There's nothing stopping you from trying it yourself. So don't just watch this and move on. Open the tools, test your first idea, build your first story, and see how far you can push it. And if this gave you even one new idea, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video so more people discover this niche. Share it with someone who's looking for new opportunities, and subscribe, because the next niche we break down might be even bigger than this one.